our monarchy is totally clapped out. It's exhausted, it's thinning out. The next three monarchs, including this one, are confused and cloistered men who don't really understand the world that we live in. And I think that if they had any sense, after this scandal, they would simply abdicate and let us turn this very sad moment, quite a grim moment for our country, into something fun and imaginative and interesting.
Are they more cloistered than previous monarchs? Did Henry VIII or Edward II or Queen Victoria, were they more of the people?
I think they had a closer connection to reality. I think the fact that Andrew, since 2010, when we started to learn about his connections with Epstein, has been allowed to hold quite important government jobs, has been allowed to live in a gigantic mansion. He should be packed out to a shed in the Outer Hebrides. And instead, at all times, he's been supported by this family. It's completely wrong.
But I mean, huge amounts of tax revenues coming in because of the tourist attraction of Buckingham Palace and the House of Windsor, and we don't have to have a directly elected national president like they have in America or in France. Isn't that much better?
I mean, I think a potted plant would be better than the current monarch, actually, if we put it on a throne.
Oh, please. If the Windsors had a shred of decency left, and that's a big if after decades of this circus, they'd pack up their corgis and crowns and slink off into the sunset. If they had any sense after this scandal, they would simply abdicate. Nails it, doesn't it? That's Will Lloyd, dropping truth bombs in the New Statesman like a man who's finally had enough of the fairy tale facade. And let's be crystal clear, this latest Prince Andrew mess, it's not the main course. It's the mouldy cherry rotting on top of a sundae that's been festering since the Tudors. The royal family isn't just dysfunctional, it's a black hole sucking in decency, dignity, and billions of taxpayer pounds while spewing out hypocrisy and horror shows. Abolish the lot of them. Now. Start with the scandal that's got everyone clutching their pearls this week. Prince Andrew, the sweaty spare part, who's somehow still breathing the same air as us peasants, dragged back into the spotlight for his Epstein ties. Remember Virginia Giuffre? The woman he swore he never met, even as photos show him glued to her side like a bad tattoo? Yeah, that one. The settlement he coughed up. Millions, they say, though we'll never know the exact figure because opacity is the royal specialty, was supposed to buy silence. But silence from these vipers? Ha! It's like expecting a fox to guard the henhouse without a single feather out of place. Andrew's not some rogue uncle who wandered off the family tree. He's the symptom of a diseased dynasty that's been peddling privilege as virtue for centuries. Sex trafficking rings, dodgy deals with dictators. That's Tuesday for the Windsors. This is just the tip of the iceberg that's been carving off their glacial entitlement. But let's not kid ourselves. Andrew's sleaze is small potatoes compared to the deep, dark secrets they've buried under layers of protocol and pomp. The monarchy isn't a family, it's a cult, a gilded cage where abuse festers unchecked because no one dares peek behind the velvet ropes. Think about it. Diana, hounded to death by a press the royals themselves courted, then smeared in death as unstable. Camilla, the homewrecker who clawed her way to queen consort status on the bones of a marriage, Charles torpedoed without a backward glance. And don't get me started on the firm's cosy chats with Nazis. Yes, actual swastika-saluting uncles in the 1930s, swept under the rug like yesterday's tea leaves. Or the colonial blood on their hands plundering empires, propping up puppet kings, and now pretending to care about Commonwealth unity while the ghosts of slavery and genocide echo through their palaces. These aren't oopsies, they're the operating system. The royals don't reform, they rebrand. Andrew gets his titles stripped. Big whoop. He'll still swan around Windsor with his stuffed toys and his delusions of grandeur, funded by the rest of us. And here's the kicker, the rot runs so deep that even their own bolted for the exit. Harry and Meghan Sussex, Meghan Sussex, the brilliant biracial trailblazer they couldn't handle, saw the abyss and said, "Nope, not today. Remember the Oprah interview? Not some petty tell-all, but a raw unmasking of a machine that chews up outsiders and spits out scandals." Meghan Sussex, a woman who dared to be smart, successful and non-white in their lily pond, got the full treatment, racist leaks, suicide shaming, the works. They painted her as the villain for, what? Marrying their boy and expecting basic human kindness? Harry, raised in that viper pit, finally woke up after watching his mother get martyred and his wife get mauled. The Sussexes didn't choose out because they couldn't hack it. They fled because the monarchy is a meat grinder disguised as a meritocracy. It's a place where love is a liability, mental health is a punchline, and family means propping up pedophiles while gaslighting the vulnerable. Good riddance to them, and shame on anyone still simping for a system that drove them away. But oh, the excuses, tradition, cry the toadies, as if chaining society to medieval fairy tales isn't the real barbarism, tourism. They bleat, ignoring that republics like France rake in more visitors without bankrolling a brood of bored aristocrats. And the cost? Let's talk brass tacks, because these freeloaders sure don't. The sovereign grant, fancy name for our money funneled into their frippery, hit £86 million last year alone. That's for castles that leak like sieves, jets for jaunts to Mustique, and security that's basically a euphemism for hiding more skeletons. Meanwhile, food banks overflow, NHS waits stretch into years, and kids go hungry because the magic money tree is reserved for corgi pedicures. The royals aren't figureheads. They're fiscal vampires, draining the lifeblood from a nation that's outgrown their act. In 2025, with AI reshaping jobs and climate fires raging, who needs a 70-year-old divorcee in a tiara waving from a balcony? It's not charming, it's childish. A relic from an era when kings chopped heads for fun and serfs bowed or died. Deeper still, the monarchy's the ultimate enabler of inequality. They perch atop the class pyramid, sprinkling grace and favour on cronies while the rest of us scrape by. It's no coincidence that scandals like Andrew's involve the global elite. Billionaires, blackmailers, the whole rotten network, because the Windsors are the original 1%ers. They embody the lie that some bloodlines are blessed, that power is inherited, not earned. Abolish them, and watch the House of Cards tumble. No more lords lording it in the House of Lords, no more hereditary handouts, no more myths propping up the posh. We'd be freer, fairer, finally facing the future without feudal baggage dragging us down. Mark my words, everything will come to light one day. The dam's cracking, court docs unsealed, whistleblowers whispering, historians digging up the dirt that's been composted for generations. Andrew was the cherry, sure, but underneath, a cesspool of cover-ups that'll make your stomach turn. Pedophilia rings. Financial fuckery with Saudi sheikhs and Russian oligarchs. The firm's fingers in every pie, from arms deals to art heists. We've seen glimpses. The Panama Papers naming Charles's fixers, the Epstein flight logs with royal fingerprints. And when the floodgates open, and they will, because nothing stays buried forever, we'll be here, arms crossed, saying, "I told you so." The enablers, the apologists, the crown stickers, they'll scatter like roaches. But the rest of us? We'll cheer as the throne room echoes empty. So what's the play? Abdication? Cute dream, but these dinosaurs don't go gentle. No, we need the guillotine. Metaphorical, sure, but swift. Petition Parliament, protest the palaces, vote out the vestiges. Turn Buckingham into a museum of mistakes, a warning to wannabe overlords everywhere. Let the Sussexes thrive in California, free from the fog of fear. Let the nation breathe, unbowed by birthrights. The monarchy isn't eternal, it's expired. Time to bin it, bury it, and build something better. Because if this scandal doesn't kill the crown, nothing will. And frankly, good riddance.